Specification for earthing installations prepared by referring various standards. IS 3043 for earthing standard, IS 2309 for lightning, IS 7689 for static electricity, OISD, Oil Industrial Safety Directorate for safe installations. Earth pit. Coordinates shall be as per the given drawing. These coordinates can be adjusted at site in order to avoid roads, buildings, column rafts, pipelines, drains, equipment foundations. Any other hindrance can be avoided so that the coordinates can be adjusted as per site condition and earth pits can be prepared. So while preparing the earth pits, hole is dug as per the given dimensions of earth electrode and stones. All this must be removed. The soil must be moist. If the soil is not moist, we can add salt water. After preparing the earth pit marker shall be placed. And after the completion of the earth pit, these earth pit locations shall be marked in the as-built drawing and the coordinates shall be marked in the final drawing. Earth electrode shall be 65 mm dia, 3 meter long, very clean. There should not be any paints on the earth electrode. Why? Because paint is a non-conductive material. It reduces the conductivity of the electrode. There will be two sides of the earth electrode. One shall be connected for lightning protection, which is connected with the 25 by 3 mm. The other side, we can connect either equipment or main grid. The distance between two earth pits, general rule is twice the length of the rod. Here the length of the rod is 3 meter, we have considering 6 meter is minimum recommendation. After preparing the earth pits, earth distance shall be measured with grid and without grid. The value shall be recorded. There shall be one dedicated pit for remote streetlight poles, each FLM or high mast, each lightning arrestor, and remote equipments. Earth distance value shall be measured at every pit on dry day of dry month, with grid and without grid. The plant earthing shall have approximate value of less than 1 ohm. CPP, outdoor switchyards, substations shall have resistance less than 1 ohm. Plant resistance less than 4 ohm, or it can be approximately less than equal to 5 ohms. For lightning protections, it can be up to 5 ohms. It can go up to even 10 ohms also. This is only for lightning protection. Whereas other cases, for electrical parts, it is less than equal to 5 ohm. And earth resistance value shall be measured with grid and without grid. At few locations, the resistance values must be measured, such as at enclosures. The resistance value shall be measured with grid and without grid. For structurals which are connected to lightning protection, metal conduits, star point of the wiring or earth point of the wiring, cable sheets. In EHV cables, the cable sheet shall be grounded. Armor of the cable shall be connected to ground. Gate fencing. At these locations, the resistance value shall be measured with grid and without grid. Earthing network. Earthing network is mainly prepared by earth pits, GI earth flats, and earth plates. These material samples inspected, verified, then only clearance is given for installations. RDIF GI MS flat. The galvanization on this MS flat shall be 150 microns. Main earth grid shall be prepared by 75 by 10 and it shall be buried and form a closed ring network. This laying shall be at minimum 500 mm deep. In case of paved area, rebars shall be welded to the main earth grid at every 25 meter. In trenches, these earth strips shall be clamped on the side of the wall at 500 mm gap. The laying of earth strip in trench shall be just below the slab cover around 100 to 150 mm below the slab cover. Equipment can be connected to main earth grid, or equipment can be connected to earth plate also. Welding overlapping, double the width of the earth strip and 4 sides fully welded so that the earth joint is completely reliable. After welding, immediately bitumen paint has to be applied. 2 coats of bitumen paints has to be applied. If the joint is going below the ground, then Hessian tape also be applied on the joint. If the joint is above the ground only, then Hessian tape is not required. Tapping connections. Tapping connections, either we can use welded joints or we can go for nut bolt connections also. Earth strips shall be fixed along the trace. These trays can be traveling along the overhead pipe racks, sleepers, RCC trench, and substation cable cellars also. If earth strips are placed between the support stand and trace, then cable laying will be easy. This is support stand and this is our earth strip. These are our cable trays. So that cables can be easily placed from outside. And these cable trays can be welded at regularly at 25 meter or 30 meter from inside. So that cable trays shall be bonded at every 30 meter. For street light pole, along the street light pole cables also, we can lay this earth strip. Design guide for earthing. What are the types of earthing? Why earthing is required? The types of earthing are equipment earthing, system neutral earthing, equipment static earthing, and lightning protection. Equipment earthing means non-current carrying parts of the equipment are connected to ground. That is equals to body earthing or enclosure earthing. System neutral earthing, current carrying parts of the system are connected to ground. That is equal to star point of either generator or star point of secondary of the transformer. Why earthing is required? To protect the equipment and human, maintain the surface potential at zero voltage level, protect the total power system, and limit the insulation levels by controlling the phase voltages. Coming to earthing connections, in earthing system, whatever may be the type of earthing system, the connections shall be as per the specifications. There should not be any paints on any earthing material such as earth pits, earth strips, or earth plates. Scales, enamels, all shall be removed because these are non-conductive materials. Hardware, nut and bolts, those shall be hard dip galvanized. If we go for SS material, that is well and good. And these nut bolt connections tight and reliable. At equipment, only nut bolts which are dedicated for earthing shall be used for connecting the earth strips. For equipment earthing, the equipment can be directly connected to earth plates or main earth grid, but we shall use only dedicated nut bolts. We should not use foundation nut bolts for earthing of the equipment. Earthing schedule. Earthing schedule will provide data with reference to the type of earthing material required for particular equipment, depending upon its size, number of connections, and type of earth flat or earth wire. Details about all these things will be given by earthing schedule. So by connecting the equipments to the ground, we can minimize the static charges, and earthing schedule gives the details of types of equipment which shall be connected to ground. System neutral must be connected to ground. CT star point, PT secondary, system neutral, CT and PTs neutral, equipment body or enclosure, metallic objects, their equipments shall be connected to earthing system. Process equipment, tanks, piers, vessels, structural columns shall be connected to main earth grid. Pipe rack shall be connected. Tray shall also be connected at every 30 meter. FLM shall be connected to ground. Streetlight poles. In case of floating roof tanks, Shunts shall be provided at every 3 meter. These shall be connected to earthing system, and tank shall be connected to earthing system. Railroads, rail platforms, wagons, trucks, pipes shall be bonded, pipe flanges, utility pipes, process pipelines. Process pipelines shall be connected to ground at entry and exit of hazardous area. Cable shields or armor, gate fencings, shield wires, substation column, substation floor rebar, cables of lighting fixtures or welding receptacle. Their third core shall be used for earthing these welding receptacles or lighting fixtures. For voltages greater than equal to 415, there shall be two connections to grid. For voltages lesser than 415, there shall be only one connection to main grid. Building columns, substation floor rebars, these also be connected to earthing grid. In case of lightning protection, tall buildings, tall structures, and special equipment can be connected to dedicated earth pit for lightning protection. There shall be a down conductor of 25/3 GI earth flat between aerial rod and earth pit. There should not be any deviations in this down conductor. So as the current takes minimum impedance path, we have to maintain the minimum impedance path between the lightning current and ground. So the lightning current is around 100 kiloamperes. So this fault current has to be diverted to ground immediately. These currents are cleared in less than 1 second. Earth grid network and lightning protection grid network, these two can be interconnected. Clean earthing network, UPS, HMIs, instrumentations, data panels, VFD panels, all these panels require separate earthing network which shall not be connected or interconnected with the lightning grid or main earth grid. This shall be separate completely. This is known as clean earth grid. Earthing mesh, the total earth grid in this plant or unit, all the equipment shall be maintained at zero surface potential by connecting the total earth grid in a grid form with horizontal and vertical earth strips. And this mesh grid can be connected to outside grid at two connections or two or more connections. We have covered specification for earthing installations, types of earthings and importance of earthing, various standards preferred for preparing this specification for earthing installations, few important points, reference to earth pits, measurement of earth resistance value, total earthing network, and connections of earthing network. So we have covered all these points.